question 1, it's a unit rate problem. We want to compare and see which one is cheaper. So set it up, 132 for 8 oranges. And the other one is what? 104 for 5 oranges. And then get, right? Change it to 1 orange. Change this to 1 orange. And find the price. So in this case here, we're going to divide by 8, right? Divide by 8, divide by 5, divide by 5, and I get a calculator. So 132 divided by 8, you get 0.16165, and this divided by 5 is 0.20. So if you round it, this becomes 17 cents. And this becomes 21 cents. Sorry, 0.21 cents. So obviously this one is the more expensive. Okay. Actually, the question was which one is cheaper. So in this case, this one was the cheaper one. 2, which one is the unit rate? So remember, unit rates when we compare to the to 1, right? So like 20 miles in 1 hour, 5 points in 1 game, $20 for 1 book, right? So it's all being compared to 1, right? When we compare it to 1. So from all the choices that you have, the only one that's like that is the third one. It says 4 points for 1 game. So that's the only one written as a unit rate. 3, took 4 hours and a half for Emily to drive 326.25 miles. What was her average trip? So again, that's another way of saying what's the unit rate. How much was her trip per hour? 326.25 miles over 4.5 hours. So her average in 1 hour. How far did she travel? Divided by 4.5. And 326.25 divided by 4.5 equal, 326.25 divided by 4.5 equals 72.5 miles per hour. 4, which one is proportional? So you have quite a few of them, 12 and 20 over 30. So one way that you can check their proportion, you can cross multiply, right? 5 times 30 is 150. 12 times 20 is 240. So there's this one is not proportional. 4 over 9 and what is this? 12 over 27. This is 108, right? So let me write it down. And then this is 27, 8, carry 2. Yeah, it's 108. So this is proportional as well. The last one, 8 over 10 and 4/5, are those proportional to? Oh, if you think about it, look. Divided by 2, divided by 2. So this is also proportional. If you cross multiply, you get 40. If you cross multiply that, you also get 40. So whichever way you chose to do this, to check if they're proportional, that is okay. 5. So you have a pack of juice, right? 6-pack. So you have 480. You buy a 6-pack. How much would an 18-pack cost? Well, you can find a unit rate, right? You don't need to find the unit rate. Can we just find a relationship here? Times 3. And times 3. So much easier. We get $14.40. This one says Hannah can swim 60 meters in 20 seconds. How far can she swim in 100 seconds? Okay. So if you find a relationship, much faster, right? So I know it's times 5. So here over here would be times 5. So I get 300 meters. You have 2 containers. The first one is 2/5 of a gallon of water. I think it's right. and it's being filled every 3/5 of an hour. The other one is 1/4 of a gallon in 20 minutes. So which one is filling? So again, we have a container, right? And water is going in here. Let's call this A. The other one, let's call this B. Which one is going to be filled faster, A or B? So which one is going faster? Well, can't compare like this. So let me change this to a unit rate. So let me change that to 1 hour. Well, if I want to change that to 1 hour, I'm going to multiply that by 4/3, yeah? Cross, multiply top by 4/3. I get 8/15 gallons in 1 hour. Here, it's 20 minutes. Well, 20 minutes, I'm going to change that minutes to 1 hour, which is 60 minutes. So times 3, multiply that times 3, and I get 3/4 of a gallon. Now, which one is faster, 3/4 of a gallon or 8/15? So if you take a moment and go 8/15 in your calculator and divide that up, that's 0.53, repeat it, and 3/4, well, you know what that is, 0.75. So which one is faster? This guy's being filled low, faster. 9. A car uses 15 and drives 15 and 3/4 miles with using 1 3/4 gallons. To feel it, how many miles can the distance travel per gallon? So with 1 gallon, how far can it travel? Well, if you have a calculator, which you will in the test, you can just punch that in, right? Divide top and bottom by 1 3/4. If you don't have a calculator, what's 1 3/4? Well, if you don't have a calculator, okay, let's change that. 4 times 1 is 4 plus 3, so that's the same thing as 7/4 gallons, right? If you want to change that to 1 gallon, you would multiply this by 4/7, and multiply this by 4/7. That and that crosses, the 7 simplifies, you get 1 gallon. And then here, I'm going to change this also to an improper, so I get 4 times 15, 60, 63/4. So if I multiply these two crosses, I get 63/7, which is the same thing as 9. So it's 9 miles with 1 gallon. Okay, that's a pretty number. A farm in the morning, a farm worker, he gets 5 pints of strawberry in 10 minutes. In the afternoon, she does 3 pints in 4 minutes. Is she faster in the afternoon or is she faster in the morning? Well, let's compare. So I'm going to change this to 60 minutes, both of them. Actually, it could have been 40 minutes. It could have been 20 minutes, but I'm going to change it to 60 minutes because it's 1 hour. But if you want to change both to 20 minutes or both to 40 minutes, that would have been just fine. So times 6, and you get, so in 60 minutes or 1 hour, she can do 30 pints in the morning. In the afternoon, it's times 15, it's 45 pints. So if you compare it in hours, in terms of hours, where does she get more strawberries, in the morning or the afternoon? The afternoon, she works a little faster. Okay. We have 2 triangles, they're similar. This is 24, this is 12. This is the smaller triangle, and this is 5, so we'll call it X, right? So this corresponds to this, and this corresponds to that. So you can set up a proportion. 12 corresponds to 5, as 24 corresponds to X. Cross multiply, you get 12X, 120, divided by 12, X equals 10. And I can swim 60 meters in 20 seconds. You're asking her if she keeps the same speed in 100 seconds. How far can she swim? Right? So you can cross multiply or maybe side to side. It's times 5. Maybe that's easier. Times 5. So what do we get here? 300 meters. So if you want to cross multiply, you can. If you find a relationship, that's also good. Wait, I just did that. Sorry. Unit rate price. So now Sean drinks 3/4. So this is an 8 gallons of 8 ounces. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is 8 ounces. So Sean, he can drink 3/4. Can he in 2/3 of an hour? Can he drink 8 ounces? No. How much can he drink? He can drink 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3/4. So if you take 3/4 and multiply by 8, you get 6. So in 2/3 of an hour, how much can he drink? He can drink 6 ounces. That's what that really saying. So you have to be really careful with this problem. So now that I have this, I want to ask you, in 1 hour, how much does he drink? Well, times 3/2, times 3/2. That all simplifies to 1. 6 times 3 is 18, divided by 2 is 9. So 9 ounces in 1 hour would have been your answer. Mr. Johnston. And Mr. Johnson has the ratio of boys to girls as Mrs. Green. Alright, so in Mrs. Johnson's class, there's 6 boys. That's this ratio, right? And 15 girls. In Mrs. Green's class, there are 18 boys. And we don't know how many girls, but we know they are proportional. Well, if they're proportional, that has to be the same, right? So 6 times what is 18 times 3. So therefore, this has to be the 3, and we get 5. 15 times 3, 45 girls. An object travels along a horizontal path at a constant rate. The object travels 3/10 of a path in 3/4 of a second. At that rate, how many seconds does it take for the object to travel the entire length? So there's a path here, and in 3/4 of a second, that travels about this much. That object is flying, and it goes up to here. That's about 3/10. And so he does this in 3/4 of a second. So how long will it take to go around this to 1 full lap? So we want the unit rate, but now we want to know 1 lap, right? 1 circle, how long does it take? So what's the time, right? I know that 3/10 of a lap, right? How long does it take? It tells us that he goes 3/4 of a second. Well, no, this is just another proportion, right? Times 10/3. Times 10/3. You get 10/4, which simplifies to 5/2, or 2.5 seconds. Must be a very fast object. 8 and 12, so we have a rectangle. It's 8 feet wide and 12 feet long. So that's my rectangle. So we have 3 rectangles. One that's 8 and 24. We have another one that's 10 and 15. And we have another one that's 4 and 5. Which of this is similar rectangles? So if you look at this one, for example, 8 times 1 is 8. Is 12 times 1 24? No. Right? So because the answer is no, this guy is gone. How about 8 times something is 10? So 8 times x equals 10. Let's find out what this magic number is. So if I divide both sides by 8, x equals 5/4. So if you multiply 8 times 5/4, you get 10. And just let's prove that. Right? 8 times 5 is 40/4. 40/4 is 10. So that's good. So what about 12? 12 times 5/4, is that 15? Let's try it. 12 times 5/4. 12 times 5 is 60/4. 60/4 is 15. Yeah, it works. So this is similar. What about the last one? It's 8. It's 8 divided by 2, 4. So 8 divided by 2 is 4. So that means that 12 divided by 2 should be 5. But it's not. So this one is not similar. So this and this are similar. It says you need 1 and 1/2 teaspoons of salt for 2/5 cup of flour. If you use 1 cup of flour, how much salt do you need? Up to you how you want to do it. You can cross multiply this, right? If you wanted to, you can cross multiply. Or you can use your calculator, right? And figure out and multiply this by 5 over 2. Multiply this by 5 over 2. It's really up to you. Okay. So I'm going to do my calc. 1 and 1 over 2 times 5 over 2. That's going to give us, so x ends up being 3 and 3/4. So if you will use 1 cup of flour, you need 3 and 3/4 teaspoons of salt. She wants a deck, so her deck right now is 12 feet long, 9 feet wide. She wants to make a big one, 30 feet long. This is the 9 feet wide, so we want to know x, and that's our question here. Set proportion, 9 corresponds to x, that's 12, and let's put a line here, put 2 lines here. 12 corresponds to 30. Cross multiply, 9 times 30 is 270, which equals 12x. Divide both sides by 12, and x equals, no idea. 22.5. $17. You have a gate that's 4 feet tall and it has a shadow of 7 feet. Then you have a building that's that tall and you have the shadow is 49 feet. What's the height? You can, so if you do a proportion, 4 is to x, 7 is to 49. You can do a proportion. Sorry, yeah, and you can cross multiply. You get 4x. Sorry. You get 7x equals 4 times 9 is 36, 196. Divide both sides by 7. And x equals, what is that? 2, 14, 28. Or you could have done 7 times what's 49? It's times 7, and then therefore here would be times 7, and you get 28 as well. Well, whichever way. Here, so we have this desert on the map. It says here under the map, so it's saying that 3 centimeters equals 210 miles. What is the scale? Well, the scale, we have to simplify this. So if we divide this by 3, we get 1 centimeter on the map equals 70 miles in real life. That's my scale. The diagram, so we have 2 phones. This is 6.21, this is 5.4, this is 2.6, and that's our x. 2.6 corresponds to x, that's 5.4 corresponds to 6.21. We can cross multiply, right? We get 16.146 equals 5.4x. Divide both sides by 5.4. And we get x equals 2.99. We have 2 juices, and they're asking now which one's the cheap. 2 orange juice containers, which one's the cheaper and how much, by how much. So the first one is $4.40 and you get 20 ounces. The second one you pay $4.64 and you get 16 ounces. Which one is the better? by here? Well, let's find out what 1 ounce is. Divide by 20, divide by 20, and 1 ounce, 0.22 cents here. In this one, if we divide by 16 and divide by 16, 4.64 divided by 16 equals, more expensive, 29 cents per. Now, and it says by how much? If you subtract, this one is more expensive because it's 7 cents more. Don't forget that part. Here we have 20 and 1/5 of a mile in 3/5 of an hour. What's the unit rate? So in 1 hour, how far? Times 5/3. Times 5/3. And we get our unit rate. So we're gonna get 20 and 1/5. 20. Try again. 20 and 1/5. What is this? Times 5/3. And we get 33 and 2/3, I think. 33 and 2/3. On Florida, we have a map between two cities. The first city is called Tallahassee. And then the other is called Jacksonville. This in real life is 665 miles. They're asking you on the map, right? How much is it on the map? So we have a scale. 1 inch is 35 miles. And then on the map, how many inches equals 665 miles. We call this x. Cross multiply. Right. You get 665 equals 35x. Divide both sides by 35. X equals, no idea, 19. So on the map, 665 miles is 19 inches. Last question. There is a direction here. The recipe says 2 parts vinegar is 5 parts water. Someone made this at home and but they didn't do this. They used 6 parts vinegar is 10 parts water. Did they use the correct ratio? Well, let's check it out. So, what's the multiply here? Times 3. So, if they use the same ratio, this should have been times 3. Is it times 3? No, it's times 2. So, this, the ratio that they use, there's too much vinegar. Okay? So how much water do they need to use here? Well, they could have multiplied this by 3 and get 15 parts of water. But they only use 10 parts of water. So they did not use the correct ratio. It might be too strong, too much vinegar, which is not bad. Okay.